palm reading of a particular person. We don't know his age, and we don't know if he's a male or female. So it doesn't matter much by knowing that the person is a male or female. We can still give the reading. So I would be giving the reading on this particular palm. Before I start my video, I would request you to press the bell icon and don't miss another update. You can call me or you can email me. These are the phone number and the email that are mentioned out here for if you wish to take a palmistry reading from me. Now we head straight away to this particular hand image that we have in front of us. The person has also put down few questions. The person wanted to know, I want you to tell about the different meaning of different lines in the palm. And the questions are, can you see a direction concerning my purpose in life, what I'm supposed to focus on mainly in life, what my mission is in life, and what it is all about. So let us start with telling about what the hand shows. I would be taking a look at both the hands to come to the final conclusion. We would be taking a look at both the hands. So first, let us start with the headline. This is basically the headline. You would notice that towards the end, there's a swing that is upward and there's a wave-like formation. So this portion of the headline is towards the end of one's life. I would just draw the age. This is the money line. This is the fate line moving towards the Saturn finger, the longest finger, and this is the headline. So this portion of the headline is before the age of 35 and this portion is after the age of 35. And this portion of the money line is before the age of 35 and this portion from 35 to 53, and this portion above the heart line, this is the heart line, above the heart line is after the age of 53. So this is how the calculation takes place. So just remember these things in case you are trying to refer what age I'm telling. So on the headline, let us take a look at before the age of 35. So this portion of the headline. So you would notice that the headline in the initial part, there's an upward line kind formation pointing towards the Mount of Jupiter. Mount of Jupiter is a big planet. Everybody knows about that. It's a big planet. Big planet basically means growth and expansion in your life. So these lines and upward lines are considered to be positive because they are kind of originating from the headline and moving upward. It means that your thought process is getting guided by Jupiter, and Jupiter is a big planet, so expansion and growth comes into play in your life. So this is one aspect. The second aspect, just before the age of 35, before this intersection, you would notice that there appears to be, and the headline is a little bit disturbed, and there appears to be island-like formation out here. Island-like formation is not generally a good sign, because what it does is that it kind of brings mental issues, mental problems into play in this particular person's life. So we are going to be looking, see, the problems that are going to come, it doesn't come only from one direction, it comes from multiple directions. So it needs to be confirmed from some other lines as well. So we would take a look at the money line, the fate line. So this portion, the money line ends before it touches the headline. So just before the age of 35, the money line ends and a new line basically develops. So there's a break out here, and apart from that, there's also an island out here on the headline. There are two indications, and specifically the island is forming somewhere under the Mount of Saturn. This is basically the Mount of Saturn, and it's just under that the island. You can see island-like formations on the headline under the Mount of Saturn signifies depression, mental issues, something of that sort playing out in this particular person's life. So or it could also mean stomach related issues. It could also mean stomach related issues, and either the stomach related issues is going to have an effect on the mind, or it could be vice versa, like because of mental issues the stomach gets disturbed. So it could be vice versa. So this is one way of looking at the lines. So this break can be seen in different aspects as well. See, a break in the money line, automatically, because it's the money line, we would say that finances are going to get affected. Job loss or work loss is going to come into play in this particular person's life. This is the first reasoning that we can give with a break in the fate line, and this is happening just before the age of 35, somewhere at the age of 32, 33, 34. That's the approximate age I would say. And this break basically could mean other things as well. See, sometimes when there's a break on the money line, it is due to the main earning member of the family. Their health and wealth gets affected, so automatically it's going to affect this particular person as well, and more responsibility would fall onto this particular person's head somewhere at this particular age that I've just mentioned, 33, 34. Sometimes the family life, the personal life of this particular person gets disturbed, and because the personal life gets disturbed, the money line also gets affected. Automatically, see, if the person wouldn't be able to concentrate on his work if their personal life is getting disturbed. For personal life getting disturbed, we would try also to see on other aspects. This is the heart line. Heart line is generally seen for one's relationship, love life, and many other things. I basically try to correlate this particular heart line to your work as well. So, but we will talk first about the relationship part. You would notice that the headline is broken somewhere out here. It's overlapping, and again it starts, again it breaks, and then again it starts. So, and there are few branches over the heart line as well. Now, this is a break in the heart line, could mean some emotional issues or emotional kind of breakdown that might take place. But do not, when you see these breaks, don't think that it's really bad. The person can contain these problems. It's not like that everything is gone and everything is full problem. Even a break doesn't mean that things have totally gone. The person can, with good guidance, basically come back from these problems. So it's not like there's a break that everything basically falls for this particular person. It's not like that. Don't think in that particular way. Because when there are some negative lines, there could be positive lines as well. So the positive line is that this is the lifeline, and you would notice that on the lifeline as well, somewhere out here there's a break and a new line is overlapping the original line out here. So overlapping lines, even if there's a break, it doesn't matter. If the new lifeline is overlapping, it is considered to be a good sign. The reason why we say a good sign is because this is the area of your Mars negative. This is the area of anger, aggression, and fire. We can take anger, aggression, and fire in positive and negative way. Both ways it can work, depending upon what kind of lines that we have. And this is the area of Venus. Venus is the area of your desires, energy, vitality, stamina, beauty, grace, all these kind of things. So when there's an overlapping lifeline, it means more surface area coming to the Mars area, Mars negative area, this is just a name, and more area coming to the Venus area. So when there's more area for Mars and Venus, it means more fire and more energy coming to this particular person at this particular age where there is a break in the lifeline. So a break can be seen, normally a break is a negative sign, but in this case we can see it in a positive way. So there's a break out here, there's also a break on the fate line, and there's also a break in the lifeline. But at the same time, there's also a supporting lifeline that you can see out here, supporting Mars line. Any line that is running parallel to the lifeline is considered to be a positive, basically, line. It is like a shield around this particular person. It doesn't continue for the whole life, but it is there for some duration of time. So this line basically lasts somewhere till the age of, this particular age could be on the lifeline approximately 45, 50. So till then, that this particular shield is around this particular person. This could also come as a form of, this particular line could also mean a shield due to some person who is nearby to this particular person, a male member or somebody or the other it could be. And the shield can be also come from females as well, or anybody, but there is a shield around this particular person, and the person would be able to fight against difficult people, difficult situations, and come out as winners. These lines that are horizontal and coming and touching the headline somewhere before the age of 35, so these are also problem lines. So horizontal lines are considered to be bad, and parallel lines to the lifeline are considered to be good. Consider something like this. This is the lifeline. This is the path you are traveling on. This is your car you are traveling on, and there's a cycle or a scooter or a car or truck or a bus coming and striking either your lifeline or your money line or your headline. Depending upon where it strikes, that area gets affected. So depending upon how big the vehicle is, that impact is going to be that huge. But because these horizontal lines are comparatively weak lines, so the impact is going to be limited. This particular line that you see out here, the impact could be even greater. So the age could be out here somewhere at the age of 30s, early 30s. So this is where it is. Now we basically move back to the fate line. Now the fate line is broken at this end before the age of 35, then it starts again, and then it again basically ends somewhere out here. So the timing is, this is the headline, this is the fate line, so this intersection is age 35. If it had continued out here and this is the heartline, this age would have been 53. So this portion is 35 to 53. So somewhere in the middle the age is 44. So I'm just going to remove all the lines. So somewhere close to the age of 44, the line of fate again ends. Somewhere close to the age of 40, it continues somewhere a little bit further, so we would say 48. But before the age of 44, around the age of 42, another line basically develops, and that basically continues, and then again it continues out here. So there would be a changeover that is likely to take place in this particular person's life, but generally a break is not considered to be good. It would bring some period of hardships in this particular person's life, few problems that are going to take place in this particular person's life. So this is how we basically come to know. Now we just take a brief look at the left hand as well. See, both hands we have to refer it to come to the conclusion. Upward lines that we saw is similar to the right hand. Upward lines is considered to be a good sign, means growth and expansion in this particular person's life. In the left hand, it appears to be more prominent. This area is also the area for governance and high position and honorable position the person gets. The person basically angled towards high position. That's the reason why the person gets high position. Similar kind of problem lines are coming and touching the headline. There are 2 or 3. So when they touch out here, anger and aggression comes into place at this particular portion of life. This is before the age of 35. Then this is the headline, and there's a downward kind of a line that is pointing towards the mount of moon. So this is a little bit negative line. Downward lines hanging from the headline are considered to be bad signs. What it means is that head is getting pulled downwards. So some amount of disappointment might take place before the age of 35. There's an island-like formation also, and there's a downward line also. And apart from that, there's also island-like formation on the heartline. Island-like formation on the heartline basically signify elongated period of emotional stress that the person is going to experience. The line of heart starts from here, it ends out here, so it's going to be somewhere in the same timing that I have just referred out here, in those 30s. Now we move on to this upward line is your mind is getting elevated, and the downward line is it's going down. Like it means disappointment, and backward means pointing towards Mars, the area of anger, aggression, and fire. Anger and aggression and fire coming into this particular person's case. This is what it is. The good part is that although there is an island-like formation, but the good part is the heart line towards the end this portion of the line becomes very good. The reason we say it is good because it becomes distinct and clear without any branches, very simple kind, and it's ending under the mount of Saturn. Saturn has got good and bad qualities. The good qualities is that it brings about responsibility, money management. It brings about being realistic, being grounded. All these qualities come to this particular person, and the person is more realistic. A person who is realistic, those people generally don't get troubled, and the person would also be able to accumulate good amount of money due to his being more realistic in his life. So this is what it is. And the little bit rarity that we see on this particular hand is that this is the money line. It is ending on the headline, so somewhere at the age of 35 it ends. In this case, the little bit different line is that a line from here, the line from this particular area, Mars positive area, this is the area of coolness, calmness, tenacity. There's a money line kind of a thing that is originating, it's breaking up, and it kind of ends on the headline again. So this area is more for army, and this is area for coolness and calmness. So this is where the person kind of ends, gains from. But again, this is a broken kind of a line, so it has got less meaning, and it's a weak line, so it has got less meaning. The line again starts, it again ends, but after the age of 35 you would notice that there are two parallel lines coming pointing towards the mount of Mars. So this is a basically positive indication. And on the mount of Saturn, there are very few lines. Having few lines, even if you don't have a money line towards the end of your life, it doesn't matter. But it's a positive sign to have very less lines over the mount of Saturn. The reason why we say less lines is good, because imagine this is the Sun, and this is a path of Saturn, and this is the Saturn that is revolving around the Sun. If there are less lines over the mount of Saturn, that means the path of Saturn, it's clear cut. Like there are no, in few people, they might have roadblocks. If there are too many crisscrossing lines out here, that means there are roadblocks on the path of Saturn. So Saturn in itself is a very slow moving planet, and if there are roadblocks, it means that your path gets elongated and full of hardships and all. But because there are less lines, the person, whatever the person makes effort, the person would gain from it. So this is how we come to the conclusion. The other part is that the lifeline is making a fairly good semicircle of and making a big area of the mount of Venus. Having a big area of mount of Venus is considered to be good because it provides greater surface area. It means more desires, more grace in this particular person's life. The person is graceful, full of energies, vitality, stamina. All these things basically come into play in this particular person's life. So so his taste and all is going to be good. And one more thing I need to add out here, the headline is very long compared to the heart line. So the person would be a very, very headstrong kind of a person. And a strong headline could also mean strong mental boundaries the person basically creates in his life. If the heartline was reaching till here, the person would be idealistic and not a realistic kind of a person, and very sensitive. And but because it's ending on the mount of Saturn, that's considered to be a better sign, because it makes a person realistic and angle towards money. And people who angle towards money, they're able to make good amount of money in their life. One more thing I need to just add out here before I move back to the right hand. You would notice that the line of Sun is quite distinct and clear out here. So having quite a distinct and clear sunline basically signifies that the chances are that the person is likely to just 1 minute, I'm just tweaking the hand image a little bit so that you can see this line more clearly. So it's a very distinct and clear line, although the timing on the line of Sun is calculated in some other way. This is the Sun line, This is the sun line, and this is out here. So this portion is before the age of 35, this portion is 35 to 53, and this portion is after the age of 53. So although the sun line is very distant and clear after the age of 53, it doesn't mean that the person is only going to be successful after the age of 53, because what I've seen, the people who have a distinct and clear sun line out here, for their whole life they can be successful, not necessarily only after the age of 53. This weak kind of sun lines basically signify that some amount of doubts are there. So this is a little bit negative sign. The person needs to remove all the doubts. That's when the person is going to be more successful. There are perpendicular lines on the mount of Mercury. Mercury is the area of your skill. There are also perpendicular lines somewhere pointing out here. So these are all positive lines. Even one single line on the hand is good enough. Multiple lines is okay. Books basically say if there are multiple lines, the person could be a good doctor, but I say that not necessarily this means only a doctor. It could be just multiple set of skills the person might have. Deeper and clearer lines, one single line, very straight line would have been better. There's a somewhat wave-like formation, broken kind of things. It would have been better if they were perpendicular. The good part is that these lines do not cross over like these. They do not cross over out here, and they don't make a mess out here. So if there was a mess out here, the person would miscalculate and miscommunicate, but we don't find that kind of indication out here. It's a positive area. Coming back to the right hand, there's similarity. There's the same money line out here, sorry, the Mercury line, and perpendicular lines out here. So similar kind of these light lines that you see out here, these are of no use, because very dim kind of lines, basically they signify that the person is not sharpening these set of skills to as much that the person needs to, and strong lines means the person is sharpening. The branches that you see out here on the heart line means the person is flirtatious and the person gets distracted. These things can be taken in terms of relationship as well as work as well, your profession as well. The person is flirting with their work. So I would say that the person needs to offer their life to one single cause. Only then the person is going to be more successful, because you have to dedicate yourself, you have to give your life to a particular cause. Only then you can become more successful. The good part about the headline is towards the end, you would notice the headline is kind of moving upward towards the amount of Mercury. This is moving more towards a skill part. The person is gaining more skills. There's also a branch-like formation out here. So branch-like formation towards the end of line basically means the person could be a genius. The little bit negative sign is that you would notice that the headline is making a wave-like formation. So a wave-like formation means the thought process is swinging from one end to the other. So that's a little bit negative, I would say. Coming back to the questions the person had asked, I've talked about the lines as such out here, and I've talked about the lines out here, the direction concerning the purpose of life. I've talked about what can you say about my strong characteristics, what about my weak characteristics. I've already talked about these. Maybe you can ideas to compensate. You have to remain dedicated. You have to offer your life to a single cause. Only then things become better. Any special points in my life where something is important, those things I've mentioned, those break in the headline and the fate line. We see special power, talents and abilities. Your amount of Mercury is prominent. That means grace and beauty. It can come in any form. It can come in the form of creating good food or good clothes, or something to do with art, music, or something like that. Can you say something more about my soul root, soul family, and how old my soul could be? This is one question that palmistry cannot answer. There's no book in palmistry that talks about this particular thing. What would you consider the most important thing to know about myself? So I just briefly come back to this particular hand. This hand appears to be a squarish kind of a hand. So a very well balanced personality and a very stable personality. a personality that basically helps other person as well in trouble, that the person has all these abilities. And the amount of Venus being prominent, it brings about, it appears that it is prominent, although I'm just awaiting few other hand images that would solidify my opinion. Again, the head and the lifeline both are joined at the initial star, so some amount of caution comes into play in this particular person type. Very cautious, shy, hardworking comes into place. And because the money line is starting somewhere on the mount of moon, this is the mount of moon, and there's a line somewhere out here. So if this line had touched the fate line, so probably help coming from opposite sex, and help coming from or staying far away from your birthplace could come into play. And that's all I can basically talk about this particular hand. Rest I would be talking over the phone. And thanks for watching this video. Before I end this video, I would just repeat few things that I repeat in almost all my videos. That is, we can come to know about money from almost any aspect of your palm. Money line importance in terms of how much money we are going to make is just 15%. We can come to know about money from almost all aspects of our hand. It could be your heart line, your head line, your lifeline, your money line, the amount of Mercury, Venus, Mars, or any other line. Even Jupiter is growth oriented, so the person has that upward line, so the person is always seeking growth, expansion in his life. So this is a positive aspect. A saint once said, you do not need to go to an astrologer or a palmist to know about your future, because you already know your future. Present is a result of past. How will be my future? Future depends upon what you are doing in the present. What are we? We are product of our thoughts. So the thoughts that come to our mind are really important. Keep positive thoughts and keep good company, because company matters the most. If a person has got bad company, it's going to take the person in the wrong direction. And if the person is in the right company, the person is going to automatically move towards the good direction, the positive direction. So company matters the most. So we must basically improve our company. However it might be, these branches that you see out here, these are a little bit negative because they are distracting and falling for temptations. This could also means carrying the extra baggage of the past. So we have to somehow cut those extra baggage. Only then things become better. And although these lines that I've talked about, they are of not such great importance because they're comparatively weaker lines, very dim kind of lines. So dim lines and very small branches, basically they have got less effect on this particular person. If these branches were very strong branches, then we would have certainly said more negatives. As far as the right hand goes, there are 3 lines on the mount of sun. So 3 different areas the person is going to work in, and is going to basically try to work in those different fields, maybe professions. And I think that's it for this particular video. And just taking a look at the amount of Venus and the area of Mars. There are few these horizontal lines. This basically what it does is that it kind of mismatches our fire. Like it kind of our fire gets we get angry over wrong issues, and we get angry over wrong issues. If we get angry over wrong issues, so our fire is getting misused. So misuse of fire. And these horizontal lines, see, these are not very prominent kind of lines, but I'm still telling you. So these horizontal, the person is kind of misusing their fuel, because this is the Venus is the area of fuel and Mars is the area of fire. So that's what it is. Thanks for watching this video. Bye and take care.